Hi everyone, it's Rev Natalie. Grace and peace be with each and every one of you. I've been thinking a lot of late about those moments where I have felt ever so blessed, where people, certain individuals have perhaps crossed through my life, or whose paths I have crossed. Moments when I've either felt as though I have met the face of Christ, or perhaps even been touched by an angel. Have any of you ever felt as though you have truly perhaps met the face of Christ, or feel as though you have found yourself in moments where your spirit, where your heart indeed has been touched by an angel? I know that indeed I firmly believe that I have. I know I've shared with you in the church, at least on one occasion before, this story. Happened some time ago, some years ago. I was traveling a boat in my car in the city, and was coming upon a very busy street, and just ahead was a set of lights and a crosswalk, and we'd stop at the red light, and suddenly, it was very early in the morning, and suddenly there were several people crossing by in front of me in the crosswalk, and there was one gentleman that truly stood out, and he was quite a lovely looking fellow, very nice looking gentleman. And he just stood out. There was something about him that I was drawn to. He had lovely blonde hair and a white t-shirt. He was wearing faded jeans, and as I recall, it appeared as though he had no footwear on. He wasn't wearing any shoes, and he was walking along with the others in the crosswalk, and all of a sudden he looked at me, directly at me, and I felt as though his eyes were touching my eyes, and I just knew somehow that it was a very sacred moment. I didn't know what it meant, and indeed to this day I'm still not too sure what it meant. But it was almost as though everyone else in that crowd had disappeared, even though they were still there, and all I could see was him, almost like he was literally sitting up on top of the car, or on top of the hood, and he was gazing into the car, and our eyes met. And then he continued on with the other folk in the crosswalk, and I turned my head toward the left as he was going on with the rest of the folk in the crowd. But when I turned my head and looked, he was no longer there. Was it an angel? I don't know. Was it a moment of truly meeting the face of Christ? Again, I don't know. I know that Psalm 91 says that he will guard us with angels, that angels will come to protect us, and that indeed I believe we each have guardian angels. I know I've talked about that before. The world needs to meet the face of Christ. The world needs to have angels falling upon it. There's a multitude of things that are happening now. The COVID crises in some parts of the world, just such a devastating time. In other parts, indeed, the cases are low, but the virus is still circulating, and many continue to question the future and what it holds. We have questions around people throughout the whole of the world getting along and coming into a meaningful time in which we all look to the future and feel as though we are deeply connected. There's a lot of division, and I just pray that angels might fall upon that. There's the wildfires. My goodness, looking at the news last evening, just so very devastating. You look at those photos and you truly cannot believe that it's all real. But it is. So let us this day, let us pray that the world might meet the face of Christ. And let us pray that somehow each and every one of us may come to know and trust and feel the angels that God sends to us to guard us and to love us and to renew us and to make all things new. May it be so. God bless and take care. From our home to yours, we send our love.